Hey everybody, Ryan here coming at you with the final series finale of my Stanley Kubrick director series. Now I've already done a video about this film the first few months I was on YouTube. I think it got over 10,000 views. It was kind of like me giving a little overview analysis, a very basic analysis of this film, which I'm talking about Eyes Wide Shut, the 1999 Stanley Kubrick's final film. Now, the video I did before, I got like, I think 11,000 views, and I was really being attacked a lot. Everybody that was in my core group liked the video, but every once in a while I was getting some really crazy, hateful people leaving comments. So I actually made the video private eventually, because it was just getting out of hand. And so I'm probably gonna put the link down and set the video back to where you guys could watch it if you want down, because I think it's been enough time. But I mean, I was getting probably like 50 plus comments a month that were just accusing me of being like, I mean, I had one person say that I was basic. I don't know, it's really hard to explain, but because of the plot of this film is pretty basic, but it's when you're dealing with some of the stuff that you're not really sure, like what Kubrick meant, some of the analogies, some of the metaphors used in the film, some of the meanings, some of the backstory. You get into some pretty weird stuff in regards to, like underground groups and, stuff like that. And, people have a lot of opinions about the stuff. I got accused of being a part of the Illuminati and all this stuff just for talking about this film. And I even received threats. I don't know if they were necessarily death threats, but they were pretty, hateful threats, and people saying that they wanted to crush me and all this stuff. I deleted most of those comments, but some of those other ones are actually still on there. But yeah, so I'll leave the link to that video down below. But basically, you have Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman. At the time, they were married in real life, and they play a married couple. He's a doctor. I'm pretty sure she's just a housewife, and they just kind of have a perfect life, and he kind of takes it for granted. And the first 45 minutes, they go to a party that they're invited to, and he meets up with a couple people that he's known from this past and all this stuff. Well, they go back home, they're smoking a joint, and basically he makes some comments that are like kind of insulting to his wife, because basically he says that he's not worried about her ever cheating on him or tempting other men because of she's a woman. And I don't know, the way he says it is kind of insults her. She's like, wait, excuse me? I mean, it's almost like, am I not beautiful? You don't think a man would want me? And so because they're under the influence and stuff like that, I'm sure they're drunk too, but because, they're a little high, she is free to say whatever she wants, and she basically says that she pretty much almost cheated on him the year before with a guy who she never even met or even talked to. She just saw him, and he just not destroyed her, but she couldn't even stand, she says to him. She's like, I couldn't even stand up, basically. I think that's how she says it. And, Tom Cruise is like, man, I've been taking everything for granted this whole time. And he kind of spirals, and then he goes in through this, he leaves, and he goes through this odyssey throughout the city, and he ends up following a friend to a group, and it's like a group that, has some rituals, and they have like this big orgy, and there's like a murder mystery surrounding it, and it's just a complete mind screw to Tom Cruise's character, because he's really just kind of out there. He thought his life was perfect, and that's where you get into some of the more controversial aspects of the film, is what was that group? What is the meaning of it? What is the meaning behind everything in regards to the group, and all the little things that are made about the movie that show those aspects that have more than just a regular meaning. I'd mentioned that some of the usage of the color blue in this film actually represents, I completely forgot. It was in that older video. It represents something very significant to the characters. So definitely check out that video. It's about 25 minutes, I think, and I'm actually talking about a lot of the film while it's in the background. And so basically, it's just a very realistic, I'm going to say realistic, because as a married guy, and I know some other people that are married out there, or even are in really serious relationships, can relate to maybe taking some things for granted. You kind of get in a routine, and that's kind of where he was at. So it's a very realistic look. Now, some of the stuff that he goes through is not really realistic, because it's kind of a, some of it's like his mind screwing with him, because he's just so destroyed by thinking that everything was perfect, when he just really has not been the greatest husband and showing his wife, you know, love and respect the way he should. And so I think that's really real too, because your significant other, whoever you're in a relationship with, if you get some devastating news, like maybe they cheated on you, all that kind of stuff, the mind really kind of screws with you. And it just shows, you know, it's like almost like when you get fired. If you get fired from a job, your mind starts thinking crazy things, and you're like, oh my gosh, and it's melodramatic almost, and you start overreacting. That's kind of how his character is, and that's what happens to him. And so he goes on this odyssey, and I put it up there with The Shining as probably one of his better directed films. They're all masterpieces, especially in terms of direction, but this film is just beautiful to look at. I love every single frame of this film, and it's one of my favorite films ever made. It's one of my favorite Stanley Kubrick films, and it's, you know, almost 3 hours long, and I wish it was longer just because it was so amazing. So I remember when this film came out, everybody thought it was just gonna be like an erotic type thriller, when, you know, it has some sexuality and stuff like that that's in the film, but it's not shown in like an erotic way, and it's not supposed to be erotic. And so when the movie came out, they didn't expect this huge psychological thriller, mystery, conspiracy theory type thing, like an odyssey, I guess you could say. And so they were kind of disappointed. I remember being in New York in 1999, I think it was in 1999, and being in Times Square and saw an Eyes Wide Shut promotion in Times Square. And I knew who Stanley Kubrick was back then. And he had already passed away, and I was like, oh, that's his final film, but I'm not gonna be able to see it because apparently it's some erotic thriller. That didn't end up being the case. And when I got older, I saw it and I was like, yeah, there's nudity and stuff in it, but it's not like meant to be erotic. And so I was like, that's why some people didn't, it divided critics. They didn't know what to make of it, because they thought they were going into a film like, even like maybe a Basic Instinct or something like that. It is not like that at all. And so it's just a brilliant film. Highly recommend it if you're into, of course, Stanley Kubrick films or great films in general. So that's it for this video. Thank you so much for sticking with me in this whole entire Stanley Kubrick series. It has been fun, and it has been a pleasure. Thank you very much. I will be announcing my next series like this soon. I'm still trying to make up my mind about it. So leave your comments down below. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking the video. And make sure you check out the playlist that actually has all these if you're missed any episodes. So thank you very much for watching, and have a very, very awesome day.